Hello everyone and welcome to Geopolitical Trends. My name is David Oualaalou. So good to be with you as always. China's Navy made a rare visit to Africa's Atlantic coast. Why now? Why there? What's the objective? In this video, I'm going to provide you a brief analysis and explanation as to what this movement entails and answer these two fundamental questions. Before I do this, I'd like to extend my thanks to the channel's members and supporters, and for you, if this is your first time landing on this channel here, please hit that subscribe button and smash that notification button also, so you will be notified every time I upload a new video or do a live stream session. Let's dive into this. A naval fleet of China's People's Liberation Army, PLA that is, led by destroyer Nanning. It's N-A-N-N-I-N-G. I hope I pronounce it correctly. Nanning arrived in Nigeria yesterday. So by the time you watch this video, it will be about 3 or 4 days. So it arrived for a rare visit to Africa's Atlantic coast. That's the way I look at it. But again, I'm thinking about it from geopolitical aspects of it. This one has to have some economic or financial aspects to it. And I will explain as I move forward here. But the question we need to ask, is China flexing its military muscles? Is it about time to do so? Is this an indication also of the changing world order? Because remember, many will say yes, but remember also, after World War II, it is exactly what the United States did back then. Is this time now for China's turn, that is? More importantly, there are those in Washington that now thinking in this move as sort of, China's trying, or not even trying, wants to consolidate its influence in the region, because China has a presence in Africa. Remember, I did talk about in one of my previous videos about China's naval presence in Djibouti, and I will get into that as well. So could this one also, but this one has more of an economic a reason or inclination to it than just what meet the eye. So the Chinese embassy in Nigeria said in a statement, which confirmed it today, by the way, that at the time of this recording, that the Chinese ambassador praised the 5-day visit of the naval destroyer or the naval fleet, that is, describing it as a milestone in our relations, adding that the Nigerian Navy expressed its readiness to work with China to confront threat to maritime security. So, and of course, to maintain stability in the Gulf of Guinea. Now you may ask yourself, why Guinea? Well, there is oil. That's the reason for it. So that's why I said this one has an economic outlook to it. So the economic outlook that is that the oil-rich West Africa, it is rich in oil, by the way, very rich. Region is one of the world's most important crude exporters. Yes, the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Iraq, and so forth. But this part of the world is very, very, very rich in oil. And countries in that region, especially Angola and Nigeria, are among the largest supplier of oil to China. You're starting to put the pieces together. You see what I mean, right? That's what I always say, guys, the big picture. And China's National Offshore Oil Corporation is involved in offshore production of the coast of Nigeria. And by the way, why those two countries, Angola and Nigeria? Because they are OPEC members. So countries that belongs to OPEC, oil producing, exporting countries, includes Iraq, Iran, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela. Those 5 are the founding members. Then you add to them Algeria, Angola, Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Libya, Nigeria, and the United Arab Emirates. So there is also a speculation that the Gulf of Guinea region could provide a potential base, naval base that is, for the Chinese military. Possibly, possibly not. Could this be the same scenario like what witnessed in Cambodia? Possibly, possibly not. So Beijing, of course, will have to think in terms of ensuring and consolidating its influence in the region, because the import of energy, that is so crucial to China. And China has to ensure it has enough access from variety of sources to energy, because like I said last time, and I will do a video about the Malacca Strait, that it's a very serious choking point for China. So China is thinking ahead. So almost every African country now is sort of board the investments of China, and China has a lot of presence economically speaking, and now you have this military presence. Could it make a difference? Some say yes, some say no. The West, of course, is criticizing this, but it's not about that. It's about understanding now why, for example, NATO wanted to go to Africa. Once again, this is what prompted me to do the video for you about Africa last time, about NATO in Africa, and now I wanted to highlight this to you. And mind you, that China opened its first naval base in Djibouti. I discussed it in my Iran book, that one over there, Volatile State, Iran in the Nuclear Age. And you see the image of it on the screen here, in which I disclosed back then that for China, he wanted to ensure access to energy. That's one of the reasons for it. China was also thinking in terms of the BRI, because Beijing wanted to set up and could set up more logistics facilities overseas. The military presence in Djibouti is very, very small, very limited. But if China develops its military ability or capabilities, that is, and secure presence in key regions to operate sort of 1,000 of kilometers from home, that will be very significant. But it's also a reflection of that changing in the global dynamics or global order, that is. So consider, like I said, consider China's first overseas naval base in none other than Djibouti. And I went there physically, I saw it with my own eyes. It's a small presence, Remember, there are other countries there, like Japan, like the US. So it certainly, to the West, it raises some serious questions and generates concerns, of course, in Western capitals from London and Brussels to Berlin and Washington. Well, of course they're gonna do that. So, because there is one thing, that naval assets will play a pivotal role in the case of China's strategic vision. And I argue back then in my book of Volatile State, Iran in the Nuclear Age, that China strike me as it will be wisely for it to pursue the strategic access provided by this naval base in Djibouti. And now you have this new one. There is a strategic one. And I argued back then that China's first overseas naval base in Djibouti, it's a big deal. Because Djibouti, if you know a little bit about geography, Djibouti lies in Eastern Africa, in the east side of Africa, along the what they call the Bab el-Mandeb. Bab el-Mandeb Strait, it's a very, very waterways, very narrow, that connects Western Indian Ocean, okay, get this guys, with the Red Sea. So it's also joins the patrol grounds for the Gulf of Aden, a centerpiece mission, the counter piracy mission there, in which China Navy has taken part since 2009. The reason for all this, I'm highlighting this to you, in Djibouti, the Red Sea, the Bab el-Mandeb, and now the coastal line in the west, is that this occupies a strategic real estate, especially the one in Bab el-Mandeb in Djibouti. So China will not be the lone occupant, by the way, in Djibouti, as I argued back then. because Djibouti is also home to other foreign logistic hubs. You look at the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force operating there. Then, of course, there's the United States Navy is also. But the question becomes is that, you have to think of it as an analyst, is that does the Chinese installation of naval outlook there is a shift in Beijing strategy? That's the way I look at it. So is Djibouti to China an overseas naval base, or is it a string of pearls that has occasioned so much commentary over the past decade? Because there's been some questions about is China doing this to secure the what's the word I'm looking for? The transfer of goods. But it won't be just goods. In this case, it will be energy from Africa into China through the Indian Ocean. That's the way I see it. So it has some strategic angle to it. So here's my conclusion for you, because I like to keep this brief and short to the point. And if you would like me to extend on this, I'll be happy to do it. Just leave me some comments and I'll be happy to leave it or do it on a live stream. Thinking about history, like I always do. So ever since Britain, sort of vanquished, or troops, that is the British military at that time, vanquished the Qing dynasty forces in the Opium Wars in the 19th century. I'm sure if you read up on it, you'll see what I'm referring to. So since that time, right after, China or Chinese modernizers sort of have dreamed of building a world-class armed forces with a strong navy at its core. Well, it looks to me that time is here. What do you think? Make sure to leave me some comments and I will be happy to answer them. And as I said earlier, if you guys want me to expand further on this, leave me a comment so I know, and we will do it on a live stream. Well, hope you like this content of this short, brief, and concise video. Please hit that like button and subscribe. I will really appreciate it. As always, remember, geopolitics impacts your daily life in more ways than one. Till next time, guys. Bye-bye.